Hi, my name is Lenny Giachello, and welcome to Drumville Studios. What I refer to what I'm going to be doing is the nuts and bolts of drumming, creating a strong foundation for drummers, and to understand the beginning of all this, which of course is holding the sticks properly and understanding how to practice properly. What am I going to do to begin to get my wrists and my hands working properly? So basically, it starts with the grip. So there's two main ways to hold the sticks. The match grip, which is basically holding the sticks exactly the same way. You're holding the stick on the first joint of the index finger with the thumb directly across on the other side, first joint of the index finger. That way you'll have a little opening here. You have 3 fingers left. Those are curved under and around the stick. Even the pinky is in contact with the handle of the stick. And you want to have a little bit of the stick sticking out, an inch approximately, something like that. Maybe a little more, a little less, depends on your hand size and stuff like that. But basically about an inch, okay? And of course, the left hand is identical. So that's how it looks from underneath. The other thing is you want the butt end of the stick to lie in the lifeline area. We have this big line that comes around our palm. I refer to it as the lifeline. And basically you're trying to keep the stick right there. There are other places that the stick goes. It's not like it's only there and never moves anywhere else. Sure, we cradle the stick down here sometimes for certain things and so forth. So there are different placements of the stick. But basically, it's, I think, a good starting point to put it in the lifeline area right there. That way the fingertips are in contact with the handle of the stick. Okay? From there you say, okay, that looks good there. Let me flip the sticks around and make an A kind of shape, an A shape on my snare drum pad. And when I do that, I want to examine my hands to make sure that, you know, the grip is perfect. Because think of it, the better you hold the sticks and the more comfortable you are, everything's going to feel and sound better. So naturally, the grip position is vital to many things. So you want to have the stick in a nice alignment with the index knuckle, the shaft of the stick, and the thumb is on the side and the fingers are hiding. I always tell everybody the fingers are hiding. You don't want the thumb on top. There is a legitimate thing going on with the thumb on top, but we don't care about that right now. We want to keep the main match grip position with the thumbs on the side and the fingers hiding, okay? And that's how it looks, right? You make the A shape. And what I tell people to do also, new students, beginning students, which I deal with a lot. I have all levels of students that I deal with, but beginning students, you want to go home and make sure that you're holding the sticks correctly every time. So if you put the sticks up in front of your eyes and just make sure you close one of your eyes, and this is sort of like a sight, and here's your shaft of the stick. Put that in a straight line and you know, just check it out like that, and then go under, turn your hands upside down really quick, and there's the stick in the lifeline, just like you began. And then go back to the A-shape position, okay? And then what we're gonna do today is something called snap-ups. Basically, it's a calisthenic. This is not the way you're not gonna see anybody on TV play like this. This is the way you begin to create a way to stretch the muscles in the wrist and the forearm. You know what I mean? Because approximately 80% or some big percentage revolves around wrist action. So you really want to put all the emphasis on the wrists. So this is a calisthenic, just like an athlete who does things to warm up before he plays his game, whatever sport that may be. They all have a procedure of calisthenics they do to get ready to perform. Well, as drummers, you know, this is a brain and body instrument. And we have to do things to prepare ourselves to limber up and get loose. And I think this is a great way to begin the whole thing. Sure, there's other things to do. Drummers use rudiments. There's 40 rudiments, 26 traditional, 40 rudiments that have been developed through the years, and the drummers must know all of those. And a lot of drummers use rudiments to warm up. That's fine. Some drummers will sit at their drum set and just play anything off the top of their head and warm up that way. Fine. This is not the only way, but I believe that this is a great way to have an agenda, a routine of how to begin my practice session, and also to really put extra emphasis on the wrist and forearm. You're not really using your arm. It's all about the wrist and the forearm. Okay? So one of the great exercises that I learned from a great drummer named Sonny Igo in New Jersey, he introduced me to the Buddy Rich book. And Henry Adler, who had a lot to do with writing the book, basically, I believe, created this snap-up exercise. I call it snap-ups. And it's a great way to begin your routine, and it's a calisthenic. It's a calisthenic. And what you do is after you get your stick position together, and then from there you make your A shape on your pad, okay? And then from there you go straight up at the ceiling. And your forearms are level. You're always going to tap your foot. You must always tap your foot on certain pulses within, let's say, 4/4 time. We're going to deal with 4/4 time. So you're going to tap your foot on 1 for this particular exercise. Later on, we could tap the foot on 1 and 3. We could tap the foot on all 4 beats, which is something that I usually end up doing. But to start off with the Buddy Rich book snap up page, I would say tap the foot only on 1. So it's important also to give a count off, just like a drummer in a band will go, click the right stick on the left stick, or vice versa if he's left-handed, you know what I mean? And he'll count with that and then begin and get everybody prepared to come in. I'm going to use the voice and the right foot to establish the tempo. And you don't want to do this too fast. Basically, what I mean by that is that we don't want to have, one note after another real quick. We want to have some space when you first do this, because you're starting right from day, you're starting fresh. You just woke up or whatever, and you need to get limbered up. So you don't want to rush into it. You don't want to play fast. You want to. You're already going to make fast motion, but let's put some space between each quarter note, and that's what we're dealing with, is quarter notes. So the time signature is at 4/4. The foot will be on 1 when I count it off, and then it'll be with the right hand on 1. Then it'll be with the left hand on the second measure on 1, and so forth and so on. And this would be a 4-bar line. Also, we could call it a 4-bar phrase. And we could do it, I'm going to do it a couple times here, but at home I suggest maybe 8 or 10 times or something like that would be good. It doesn't take long. You don't want to spend, you don't have to spend hours on this, but this is something that you would do for a few minutes and begin to get loose, So from here, I'm going to start with the sticks pointing up at the ceiling. Now I'm holding the sticks firmly. I'm not holding them tight. Tight is not something you want. Firm is fine. This is the only exercise I believe, and calisthenics that are another thing that I do that's similar to this, that you would hold the sticks very firmly, but not tight. And then later on, you have other ways of grip, pressure. You hold the sticks loose or medium, depending on what you're doing. But you end up doing, different pressures of your hands and fingers. But basically, with this particular thing, you're always using a firm grip, but not tight. Okay, so back to the A shape, up at the ceiling, okay? And notice that when I go down to make the stroke, the stick is going to move away from my hand ever so slightly because I'm not squeezing. But when I return to the upstroke position, the stick is lying right against the lifeline. That way I'm forcing more extra activity on my wrist. And that's the whole purpose of it. So here's how you begin to do the first step to this. So count off. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Left comes in with the foot. 1, 2, 3. Go back to the right. Third bar. 1, 2, 4. And left hand, right foot on 1, 2. And then go back to the beginning right away. 1, 2, 3. Nice and quick. Your wrist can only go so high in a straight line, but that's how much you want it to go, you know, all the way back. 2, 3, and one more measure would be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I finish, both sticks are pointing up at the ceiling just the way I began. So that's the match grip. And then there's other exercises in the Buddy Rich book where you would have 3 more exercises pertaining to the same thing. One is in 3-4, then you got 2 bars of rights, 2 bars of lefts in 4-4, and then 2 bars of rights, 2 bars of lefts in 3-4. But basically, it's the same procedure.